Hi everyone and welcome to my sewing room. Today we're going to continue with our block of the month quilt, so don't go away. Okay, so as I just said, we're going to continue with the block of the month quilt. And just as a reminder, I'll show you. Here's the S that we did. And then this was the one that was the pin cushions, which I think came out really, really cute. And if you haven't seen these videos, go back and watch them because especially if you have the PE design software, you're going to find that you'll learn a little bit about how to do a lot of different things besides creating appliques, creating designs, creating a lot of different things, and what a tool will do that's in your software. So today we're going to write the word sew. So S-E-W. So the next one is going to be an E. And this is my block. I already sewed it out. I'll show it again to you at the end. I didn't do the whole block in the video because it's a lot of stuff, but just showing you how to create that iron I thought was a good experience. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's go to the computer. So today I think we are going to make an iron that we can put into our next square, and we'll learn a new process for creating an embroidery design in the hoop. I don't know why it just did that. Okay, let's zoom all. Okay, so in this way we're going to actually use an image behind that we can trace around to create something. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to image and then open. But before I do that, I should have been thinking, I wanted to mention that in order to get an image, sometimes you have to kind of do some tricks and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go online and Google clipart iron images. And I scrolled through all of these images and I was looking for something that I thought would be easy to trace and make a good embroidery design. There's a couple of them here that are kind of fun that you could do something with. This one here I think is a really good idea. I like this one, but it's a little more modern. I kind of like this one a little bit more. So let's see. Let's see if we can actually save this one. Let's see if I right click. Aha, save image as. And it's going to go into my pictures. And I'm going to say, oh, I want to put it in to my saved pictures. Let's see, save pictures. And then I'm just going to clip iron and hit save. There it is. All right, so let's turn that off and let's turn this back on again. Okay, so now we're going to say open from file. And then here's all the files in my computer, and here's the saved pictures file. And let's see. I have too much stuff in here. There it is. And I'm going to hit open. Okay, so obviously it's too big for my block, but that's okay because we can go home and we can push minus and zoom out. And then I'm going to get the selector button and I'm going to grab it and I'm going to pull it down like this. I'm going to make it pretty big and then I can size it down afterwards to the size I need to make my block. So that works good. So let's go here so that we can actually see it. And I'm going to, under view, here's my grid. Let's see, show grid. I'm going to turn the grid off because it's irritating me. Okay, so what do we want to do here? Let's first create the iron itself. So what I want to do is I'm going to go home and I'm going to use in the shapes menu, there's this one right here that actually will create a shape. So I can click, left click, left click, left click, and I'm just going to manually trace this. And it seems like it's a lot of work. It's none of that auto digitizing stuff, but it's going to do the job, and that's more important than getting it done quick. Now I'm going to double click, and it's going to create that shape for me. So I'm going to go home, and if I go into zoom, I can drag a box around here so I get it closer to what I had before. I want to move this guy out of my way. Okay, now first things first, select it. Then we don't want, actually, I think I do want an outline around that, but I don't want it to be pink. I want it to be black. And then I'm going to make this well, let's make it like a different color. Let's make it blue, but eventually I'll change it to whatever I want it to be. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to come over here and get my edit point tool, so I get the little boxes. And I'm going to pull them down because I did kind of a quick trace, and obviously I didn't get it right. Remember, if you want to add another box, just click anywhere on that white dotted line and then get another box, especially around those curved areas that we want to be. I maybe want one here. And then this one here I'm going to pull up. And then this one here I want to pull up. Okay. While I've been working on this little guy right here, I actually have made the decision that I don't want this outlined. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this off. Zigzag stitch not sewn. There, that I like it better plain like that, but I will have some black outlines eventually on this. So I'm going to draw the bottom part. Now I'm going to use a different tool to do this. So if I go home and I use the shapes menu, and I use this tool right here, that's a satin stitch tool, and I can click. And remember, when you use this tool, you click across. So I'm going to click here, and then the next one has to be on the opposite end. Left click, and then left click. Always go up and then down again. Never go across, because it's basically drawing a satin stitch. And you will see as I go up and down, and then double click, and it created that satin stitch across the bottom. And then if I click on it, I have all these little arrows, and the arrows pick the direction of the satin stitch. So I need to move them so that they're all going up and down, because I want this to sew with the satin stitch going up and down. I don't want it to go slantways, but I want it to follow this curve there. Now, some of these are wider than others. And if you want to be really particular about this, I'm going to move this one up a little bit. I kind of eyeball it more than anything else. But you could, if you go home and you choose this tool right here, it's a measure tool. And I can take it and I can measure across this, and it's telling me that's 0.35 inches. And then this one is 0.26 inches. And then this one is 0.38 inches. So it's not exactly even all the way around, but it's okay. So I'm going to go back to this tool again. And one of the things I want to do is I want to add a point right here and pull that guy down a little bit so it's a little more curved. I think that looks pretty good. I like it. Okay, so there's that part of the iron. And then let's move this just up a little bit here. And we're going to draw this part. So I'm going to get this tool and I want to not go too fast. We're going to go straight across here. We're going to go down this way. There. And as I'm getting close to where I started, I'm going to double click. I don't ever try and go all the way across because then they have a tendency to cross each other. Let's put the tool on there. Right here, I want them to overlap each other just a little bit. Let's pull it down into there more. Okay, so this is going to be green. And I can't see underneath it to see where to put the hole, but I'm also in view. I'm also in the realistic preview. Let's go in the stitch preview. Aha, now I can see through it. So that'll make it easier for me to do this. And I'm not going to worry about this part right here. That I just want the hole itself. So I'm going to go home. I'm going to go under shapes and choose this again. Actually, home. Let's try this one that has the curved edges. I think maybe it might be a little more cooperative. Double click. Okay, so there's another one. And remember what we talked about before about cutting a hole? So you select this one, you hold your control button down, you select the outside one, and then you say modify overlap, remove overlap. And then we're going to go select this one on the inside, shapes tool, not sewn. Aha, now we have the hole there where we want it. Now I wonder if we select this one and we actually tell it to do a zigzag stitch around there. This one here, let's look at that in realistic view. I kind of like that. I think it does what I want it to do, except for I need to kind of smooth that out there. So let's do home. Let's select this. Select that box and say to curve. See if that curves that out just a little bit more. Sometimes you just need to add a few more points to it to make it look a little more curved. I like that. I think it looks good. Okay, so we got to add a couple more things to this to make it look good. We got a little green button right here that we want to do. So let's let's go back to view and stitch view so I can see through what I'm doing here. So I want to add a square here. So we're going to go home and go under shapes and add a block there. And that one is going to be not sewn for the outline and a fill stitch for the fill. Oh, I have to make sure I've got it selected. Ugh. Okay, it's selected now. So the fill is going to be a fill stitch, and then this one here is going to be not sewn. And this one here is going to be a darker green. And actually, I'm going to move this guy back over here because I want this to be sewn up here. There, I like it underneath. Okay, so this one here is the next one here that I want to do. Let's choose this one and hit the control button and choose this one and modify. Uh-oh, it didn't let me do it. Let me see. Let me try it again. This one and then control this one, modify overlap. I don't know what I did wrong, but it won't let me remove the overlap, and I don't know why. Let's try another one. Okay, let's put this one over here. Let's draw this one. So we're going to do here, here, click, 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 double click. Okay, there's the green. And you know what I think I want to do with this part right here is I want to make sure it's selected and then change it to a programmable fill and sewing attributes, programmable fill, let's try something. What the heck would this look like? I have no idea. I don't think I've ever used that one. Let's look at it and view realistic. Oh, actually, I think that looks pretty good right there. I like it. Okay, so there's a different fill on that, and there's that one there, the button one. And then let's do this part right here. We're going to have to do it in two parts, though. So, first things first, let's draw an oval. Let's put it right there. And go home, hit the plus sign, come over here so we can see what we're doing here. This one is just a regular fill stitch. And then I want to draw I'm not going to put that much detail into it that's on this, but I want to at least draw the rest of that button there. And let's see, make this one red and make this one a different red. There we go. So now, if I want them to look like they're all one piece, I can scooch this one down just a little bit so it's slightly overlapping it. I think maybe that's all I needed to do with that. And then let's go home and let's choose a shape. And let's just draw a little ball at the top of this. I think that's fine just the way it is. Okay, so home, zoom all. Let's see what we've got so far. There's part of our iron. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so we're gonna go view, back to stitch so we can see through this a little bit. And then if we go home, zoom all, this part's the last part I want to draw. This one right here. So let's see what we can get if we do that. Let's do shapes, this one. And we're going to, this one may take a little while to draw this shape. Double click. Okay, let's select it. Let's turn it to this color green. And let's tell it to do a satin stitch around the outside. That, I actually kind of like that. I think it looks really good. And I don't know, because I've had this problem already. I'm not going to worry about trying to remove the overlap. Let's see. Control. If I select both of them. Oh, remove overlap. See if I like it. Ah, that works pretty good. Remove the overlap under that one. And this one here, control, remove overlap. That one works pretty good too. So let's zoom all. Okay, so the reason why I didn't want to put an outline around the bottom part was because it makes a double black line that I don't necessarily want. So sometimes if you want that to be outlined in black or something, you literally have to draw it yourself. And I could draw a satin stitch around there and create that. So let's see what happens if I do that. Let's do shapes, and we're going to just do a regular running stitch. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to zoom in so I can see really good what I'm doing here. And I'm going to move this guy out of my way. Okay, so shapes. Here's my running satin stitch, and I'm going to click. I'm going to try and stay as close to it as I possibly can. And see, I can combine my satin stitch that's at the bottom with my top one. And then I'm going to double click. And then I get a satin stitch around the outside of that without it putting a double one underneath the green part as well. And I can adjust that and play with it until it looks the way I think it should look. To make sure, like this one here needs another. I think they pretty much line up pretty good. Okay, so let's just zoom up. And actually home, let's zoom in this way. Turn this back to this. Let's see. Let's look at it under realistic preview. I think I got an iron there. I think that looks pretty good. And I can go to the image and turn off the original image so that's not behind it anymore. So that's my embroidery, and I think that looks pretty good. I like it. So I'm going to turn this back on again because I need just a little bit of help for just this last part here. I got to put this on here, but I don't want to put it on there until I've decided where my iron's going to go and what's going to happen with my cord. So let's not do that part right now. Let's just go home. And let's select this whole iron and group it together. Okay, so now we have a design, and because I've created it in software, it doesn't matter how I size it. I can size it any way I want to. So I'm going to move him over here so he's out of my way for a minute. Okay, what I want to do next is I want to make my E applique that's going to go on here. So what I need to do is I need to choose, I don't know, I need to choose text, I need to choose an A, and I want to need to click here, and then I'm going to just write capital E. Let's do Shift E, enter, and then make it big. And this looks about the right size, but you know what? I don't think this is the alphabet I used the last time, so I think I'm going to use this alphabet again. So we're going to put it here, and we're going to say convert to outline. So now that's an outline stitch, and I can actually say don't sew this, not sewn. So I have my outline. But one of the things I want to do before I do this is I actually want to take out part of this. And because it's an outline now, not an alphabet, I can actually come in here and put the boxes on here and select one and delete it. So this is one of the things I like about being able to turn a letter into an outline or a shape, is that I can kind of mess with them and make them the way I want them to be. I don't know why that just made a curve. I'm going to make it a straight. Okay. So okay, now let's turn it back, and then let's say home applique wizard. An applique wizard is going to have an applique material, a position, a tack down, and then a covering stitch. I don't need this last part. And it looks like it's a little bit wider already than what the default would be. So I'm going to say okay. Ah, that looks pretty good. I like it. And the reason why I changed that was because I'm going to put my iron right here. And it'll sew over the top of that satin stitch okay. It shouldn't give me any trouble. But obviously it's in the wrong order. So I got to come down here and I got to select these three and then tell the machine that I want them to move. Okay, sorry about that. My battery was running low. As you can see, I had to fix it. So, okay, so here we go. Let's put the iron right here. Now what I want to do is oops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to get that cord in there. So I think let's select the whole thing and move it over this way just a little bit. and then I can put the cord in there. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to select this one, and we're going to draw from here. And actually, I think what I want to do is go click, 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 click. Double click. And then we're going to do this. Click, click, click. Whoops. Click, click. Double click. Let's undo. I want to come here. Double click. Let's do that. That's kind of fun. Now I need to make a plug. And I'm going to make a plug really simply. I'm just going to use the shapes menu, and I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to draw like that. And put it right there. And then home, shapes. Let's draw. Double click. Double click. Let's pick this guy up a little bit. Okay, so if I go over here to sewing attributes while that's selected and just say make that satin stitch a little bit wider, and this one too, that satin stitch alone is enough to make it look like a plug. Let's go down to the bottom, hit a plus sign, and let's tell it to sew this part after that part, and that'll make it so they're kind of underneath there, and I think that works pretty good. So let's do home, zoom all. There's my iron on top of my E. I'm going to do a couple more things on this. I haven't quite decided yet. Maybe I'll put another pin cushion in there, maybe another spool of thread, but you get the idea. So hopefully that kind of covers basically how you can create a picture by just tracing a clip art that's behind it. So what did you think about that? Don't you think that was kind of fun, just try and figure out how to create an iron without having to actually do any kind of auto digitizing? Sometimes your embroidery designs will come out so much better if you just put a little bit of time in it and go in close and trace them out, and you'll end up with something really fun. I'm really actually pretty proud of this iron. I think it came out really nice. And then I just added to it. I put some buttons on there that I made with circles. Made another pin cushion with basically the same idea of just sewing, tracing some shapes around it, and made a little pin cushion to sit at the end of the square. So I'm really happy with that square. I'm going to continue with this at least for one more video. I'll do the W, and then we'll add some we'll make another spool of thread and maybe make a few other things. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you will come back for the next one, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.